Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Thursday and it's August 12th, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to extend to you a warm welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets. So you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know, I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video. And don't forget to subscribe. And our story today takes us back to the town of Kindley here in North Carolina. Take a look at that headline. And it reads, Update on Kindley, North Carolina after resignation of the entire police force. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. I'm sure some of you remember the story all too well. In fact, it's a story that was covered right here on this channel, and it did in fact make international news. And it all started with questions being raised as to exactly what was going on in Kindley, North Carolina. And those were valid questions considering a Facebook posting by the then chief of police pictured here. And in that post, which was made public on July the 21st, he stated that his entire police force, as well as the town's two full-time employees, that they all had submitted their 2-week notice of resignation at the same time. So in addition to the chief of police and his 4 deputies, there were also 2 full-time employees, Sharon Evans, the town clerk, and Christy Thomas, the utility clerk. Those were the 7 who submitted their resignation at the same time. And the reason they cited for this mass resignation was what they claimed was a toxic work environment they say was created by the newly hired town manager. And by the way, this newly hired town manager was Justine Jones, and she had only been on the job for 6 weeks. And based on information provided by Kindley, their own report says she was selected from a pool of 30 applicants who applied for the job. And in my last commentary, I described what I believe to be the elephant in the room, something that was so very obvious, but people were pretended did not exist. And there I have to say, allegedly. So in today's commentary, we'll pick up where we left off, and we'll provide an update, focusing on what has taken place since the resignations were submitted, and exactly what the town of Kindley is now doing as it attempts to move forward and meet the needs of its residents. Now, I do believe I mentioned in my last video that the town council had agreed to hire an outside firm to conduct an internal investigation to help them understand what the problems are, what this toxic environment was all about. That's what was reported at that time. And, you know, I honestly believe there may have been a lot of problems. They really didn't want to be made public. But I was a bit surprised to learn that investigations would now be supervised by the town lawyer. So is this a change? Did they abandon the earlier decision? I'm just asking. It was not stated as to the level of involvement that individual would have. But in my opinion, if you want transparency, and since the entire world is watching and waiting for the outcome of this investigation, it seems to me the entire investigation should probably be handled by an outside agency, and that's just my opinion. I think it helps eliminate perception that there may have been a conflict of interest. Nonetheless, on August the 2nd marked a changing of the guard in the small town of Kindley, North Carolina. Reports say one by one Kindley police officers handed in their badges, uniforms, and their holsters, and all of the police cruisers were neatly lined up as if they were awaiting inspection. But no need to panic because there has not been any lapse in police coverage. That duty has now been assumed by the Johnson County Sheriff Office. They took over that responsibility at 2 p.m. on August the 2nd. And in a report to the media, it was stated that 2 officers are on duty at all times to ensure the residents of Kindley are safe. And one might ask, where are they now that they have definitely turned the page and embarked on a new chapter in the town's history? Well, for one thing, the town manager, Justin Jones, is still on the job, completing her daily duties and responsibility. The town council did hold another meeting on August the 8th, and many things were left in limbo as they await the results of that investigation, which may take several more weeks. Now, some things they have to consider as to whether or not a town of 2,000 residents actually needs a police force consisting of a police chief and 4 deputies. I'm sure this is something being explored, and nonetheless, they're in the process of forming a search committee to look for a new chief of police, and I'm sure later on they'll be recruiting for deputies as well. Now, I decided to hold off on my feedback until the results of the investigation is conducted, completed, and the public is notified. That seems to be the most appropriate step right now, but I want to make a few observations. I want to make two really good observations. First, Kinley appears to be a town divided, and based on what I saw in some of the news media clips, it is very possible that this small town may be divided along racial lines. I also noticed that there is support on both sides. There's support for the town and there's also support for the town manager. So I want to point out that Justin Jones does have support within the community. And here's another observation. I took a few minutes to look at the racial and ethnic breakdown in comparison with the police force, and I looked at the three major ethnic and racial groups. And herein lies another reason for concern. You have a town where the police force is not reflective of the population it serves. One thing I've learned over the years is that the numbers don't lie. You have a town that is 48.6% white and 33.5% black, but you have an entire police force that's 100% white. That says you're not progressive, and herein lies another elephant in the room. And so all eyes are still on Kinley, North Carolina, and we're eagerly awaiting the report of that investigation along with its associated recommendations. It would be most helpful to learn who the players are on this investigative team and the specific role the town attorney played in crafting the document. I think what the world wants now is transparency. This has become so public and want to make sure that everything is laid out on the table. So stay tuned. I'll be back with another video and my assessment whenever that report is made public. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button. It's at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like this one, that's the notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.